over 85 million meals to date, and which was only possible because of President Trump's call for creative solutions to help the Palestinians. Let's talk about the humanitarian situation in Gaza now with Janti Soeripto, President and CEO of Save the Children US. Janti, it's very good to have you back with us here on BBC News. We last spoke a few months ago, I believe, as there was still a blockade on aid, and you warned at the time what the impact would be on civilians in Gaza, specifically children. How do you describe what your colleagues are seeing on the ground?
Thanks, Sumi. And it is exactly as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. What we're seeing is that that level of food insecurity and malnutrition seems to have really reached a tipping point. You know, at a certain point, the number of children and pregnant or breastfeeding women that present with malnutrition symptoms just seems to spiral. And that is the levels that we're now seeing. We're seeing people dying of starvation over these past 48 to 72 hours. We're seeing young children and mothers presenting with malnutrition symptoms at unbelievable rates. We've seen a doubling of severe acute malnutrition over the last 2 months. And severe acute malnutrition sounds like a technical thing, but it essentially means that your body is wasting away. The skin is shriveling up. You can't breathe anymore. You're weak. People are dizzy. They collapse in the street. Children are too weak to cry. That is what severe acute malnutrition looks like.
Janti, we mentioned that of those who have died of starvation, the majority are children. Why are children so impacted by this?
Yeah. Yes, and children are always the most vulnerable in a situation like this. Their small bodies are less, their immune systems are already weakened, don't forget, after 21 months of this conflict. They have smaller bodies, they're more directly, faster impacted. A child can be moderately acutely malnourished and then within days can go to life-threatening stages of malnutrition, whereas adults can last a bit longer than that. And we need to get this. We know how to treat acute malnutrition in children. It is completely solvable and treatable with therapeutic feeding that sadly Save the Children still has some stocks of, but we're running out as we speak. And I think we have about 2 weeks left in our warehouses in Gaza to treat incredibly vulnerable children if this blockade isn't resolved.
I have to ask, Janti, how are your aid workers from Save the Children faring?
So we are now into a place. Look, we have over 200 amazing colleagues, the vast majority of whom are Palestinian, on the ground, and they've been there since the start. They are now also struggling to feed their own children. One of our colleagues there told me, you know, he said, "I can't believe that I'm about to die of starvation after surviving 21 months of bombing and shelling."
We've seen dozens of governments condemn the situation civilians are facing in Gaza, and yet we haven't seen a mass movement when it comes to aid into the territory. What is your message to the international community?
Look, words and condemnations are good. What we need is practical action on the ground. We need a lifting of the siege, opening of land crossings, letting all the trucks in with supplies. We have trucks at the border ready to go, and we haven't been able to get anything in since March 2nd. Then we can do our life-saving work. This is not just about dry foods and packaged goods. This is about therapeutic feeding for young children. This is about medicine to treat women and children in particular. This is about vaccinations. It's about clean water. It's also about fuel. We don't have fuel. We can't actually deliver some of these life-saving services and products to people as where they are. So there's essentially a need for everything, and all of that can be resolved if land crossings are opened.
Okay, Janti, thank you again for joining us tonight on BBC News and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you.